Bundled in coats, hats and mufflers, we lug my equipment out the front door. Carriages and wagons are already rolling down Whitechapel High Street. Snowflakes dance in the yellow halos around the gas lamps. Coal smoke rising from chimneys mixes with the fog, the chemical fumes from the factories, and the stench from nearby slaughterhouses. People emerge like grey ghosts from the murky atmosphere that obscures my view of the street beyond 20 feet in either direction. As I lock the door, machinery clangs. A train rumbles into Aldgate East Station down the block. Even in early morning, the East End of London is never silent. Although we're in a hurry, I pause to admire the studio. It's in a row of the oldest buildings on the street, which date from the past century. Their 3-story whitewashed stucco fronts and attics set in gables rise above the ground floors. Ours, located between a watchmaker and a jeweller, has S. Bain Photographer & Co. painted in gold letters over the door and display window. This part of Whitechapel is the sprucest, most prosperous and respectable. To look at it, one would never know that it's surrounded by some of London's worst slums. I still can't believe my good fortune. I only wish I had time to use the studio and build up a clientele. The kind of work I'm doing today keeps me too busy. "Come on, Sarah!" Mick calls. Laden with my equipment, we hurry up the street, then down Brick Lane, entering the neighbourhood of Spitalfields. The brick tenements look dispirited in the snow, smoky fog and gaslight. A layer of cold grime coats my face. I can feel my tongue turning black. "At least this one's close," Hugh says. They're always close. Whitechapel has an overabundance of violent deaths. Our house is conveniently situated. Trudging between Hugh and Mick, I can hardly believe I didn't know them until about 2 years ago, and now they're my dearest friends with whom I live and work. I glance at Hugh. Despite his looks and the fact that we're both single, our relationship is happily platonic. He's not interested in women, and my affections are engaged elsewhere. 4 blocks later, we turn left on Fashion Street, whose narrow, cobblestoned length divides terraces of 3-story brick buildings. A small crowd is gathered outside the second from the corner. The people appear to be local tradesmen and housewives. Dressed in dark winter garb, they resemble vultures huddled around carrion. The building is a public house, tall and narrow, with a door on the left, a large mullioned window on the right, and a pair of smaller windows on each upper floor. The woodwork is painted dark red. Gold letters mounted across the front read, "The Rope Maker's Daughter." From a pole at the roofline hangs a flag illustrated with a picture of a red-haired girl in a white dress, holding a coiled rope. A young police constable with rosy cheeks is stationed outside the pub. Snow frosts his tall helmet and blue uniform. He rubs his gloved hands and stomps his booted feet to keep warm. I swallow my fear of the law, which I've had since childhood and still plagues me, even though my job puts me in daily contact with the police. "We're not too late," Mick says happily. "There ought to be something worth seeing." Dread grips my stomach. Hugh says, "God, I hope it isn't too awful." The constable sees us approaching the door. "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" "Good morning, Constable," Hugh says with his most charming smile. "We're from the Daily World newspaper. We're here to take photographs." The constable plants his feet wide and his hands on his hips. "This here's a crime scene. You can't go in." "Then we'll just have to take photographs outside," Hugh says. "Would you like to be in one?" "Well, all right." The constable seems pleased, flattered. "What's your name?" Hugh asks. "Mitchell, sir." "If you'll just stand over there, Mr. Mitchell." Hugh gestures away from the door. Hugh's aristocratic bearing and accent command respect. The constable moves. "The wife would be tickled to see me in the papers." Then he sees Mick sneaking into the pub. "Hey,